you can have these protests and stuff like that, and everything's yay, rah, rah, here's my side, this is my cause. But the moment that somebody goes Lord of the Flies, things just fall apart. And
Explain that. Amazing. I don't know that. Maybe there's
Lord of the Flies is a book where a bunch of kids end up on a deserted island together.
Okay.
And I don't want to give away what happens.
Oh, come on.
Do it. Come on.
Poor Piggy. R.I.P. Piggy. But basically, you have people who have a good idea, good intentions, who go into these areas. But when the chaos happens, I mean, even people with the best intentions can turn on a dime. And that's obviously what we saw in Kenosha. It wasn't just the individuals who were involved. The moment that those gunshots went off, I mean, you can hear the entire crowd. Everybody's hysterical.
Yep.
And in those kind of situations, that's when all reason goes out the window.
You know what's really funny about that? When I was in Ferguson, funny, weird, not funny.
Okay.
What's weird about this is that when I was in Ferguson, or no, maybe funny is the better word. Not like we want to take you to revel in it, but the people in Ferguson didn't get hysterical when gunshots went off. They were used to it. So the first time we heard gunshots go off, they all hit the floor, and then everybody waits and looks around, slowly starts getting back up and moving to the sides. They didn't freak out. They didn't scream. They didn't run attacking people because they're used to it.
That's so weird,
They knew how to act because they had experienced this before. But in these riot situations, you have people who freak out. What's happening? I have no idea. You're yelling. I'm yelling. Loud noises.
Fireworks.
Just people go nuts.
Yeah, man.
And that's actually describes pretty well how it was when I was in Santa Monica. So I think at the same time there was D.C. Lafayette Square was like
that was when they
fire,
tried to
right?
pull down the Jackson.
And I think
right
at the
there.
same time there was Santa Monica and there was Fairfax that same weekend. But that's how I was. I got there, and the first time I heard the loud, shot from the beanbag guns and all that kind of stuff, I would literally jump. By the time I got to Kenosha, and you can see the footage on my Twitter, I'm walking very calmly between flashbangs and like all this stuff. My back is literally to these, militarized police. Explosions are happening in front of me, and it's like, I got used to it pretty quick.
That's militarized police. We've had a lot of conversations about that, and I think it's the wrong way to describe it.
Yeah,
it's weird because we often it's like an activist talking point almost. They're using beanbags, and they're using pepper balls. It doesn't even hurt these people. It's not really militarized.
They're referring to the
I can see that being the wrong.
Yeah. No, I just mean because we talked about
inaccurate.
No. I think it was a colloquial term people used because it looked like when I was in Anaheim, like we had the local police wearing full like military style camo, and they had rifles with live ammo, and they were riding around on the sides of these SUVs. So I guess that made sense. But now they keep saying militarized over and over again, and it's like these cops are wearing plastic armor with pepper balls. Like, you're gonna get hurt, I guess, but it's like they're less dangerous than a regular beat cop. You know what I mean? Like, regular beat cop's got a gun.
It's interesting you say that too, because after the shooting in Kenosha, like they didn't respond. Like the police were literally 200 yards away. But
they didn't know what was going on.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying in a normal scenario with normal patrol cops, they hear a bunch of shots and they run over.
And this is this is an important point because when Kyle Rittenhouse put up his hands and walked past the police, all these leftists were like, "Oh, look, he just killed these people and then he gets to walk away." And it's like, it's because these police are actually less prepared for that kind of situation than a regular run-of-the-mill beat cop walking down the street. So when you get a cop in his car, and he pulls someone over, that cop's got a gun with bullets in it. Mm-hmm. And if he gets scared, he shoots somebody. We don't like that. We don't like when that happens. But when the riot cops come out, they have batons and they have less lethal weapons. So if you're like, hey, there's an active shooting, they'll be like, we are not equipped to actually deal with that. Mm-hmm. So you'll need the regular cop in the squad car with their body armor and their handgun to actually confront something like that. They don't understand this militarized police they describe. Sure, APCs and stuff like that. But what we watch when we watch riot police, these cops have more options, but it's less lethal, literally less lethal than a run-of-the-mill, patrol cop.
Do they have armored personnel carriers?
They did. Yeah.
Do they have mounted machine guns on them?
No. Not at all.
They pop out and they shoot the tear gas.
With the less lethal, though, I have to commend DHS because when I was in Portland at the Multnomah Justice Center, I was across on the grass. There's a statue and stuff. But I was trying to film, and I had a little umbrella, and I was hiding behind the umbrella. And they started shooting through the umbrella, hit me in the chest, and I ran across the lawn, and they hit me every step
you're
of the
telling
way.
me the umbrella didn't stop the...
Mind-blowing.
Crazy.
It's mind-blowing,
I know.
yeah. You
The
would think that a
umbrella?
Goodwill
Wow.
umbrella
You
would
would think.
would stop something like
One
that.
would think.
So,
The umbrella phalanx.
yeah.
What are they? If they watched videos of Hong Kong, and then
That's what it was.
Which,
Yeah,
by the
that's
way,
what it
did you
was.
guys see the 4 Democratic Hong Kong lawmakers were dismissed?
No.
No, I didn't see that.
It's
Snap.
gone. Hong Kong. We're losing Hong Kong.
There's no Hong Kong anymore.
Dude,
It's just
if you might want to look that up. That's
China.
a crazy story.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just go build a Chaz over there.
Yeah.
well,
that's a good idea.
what's
I
really
like that.
interesting is that I think with this, they're going to do the lockdown again. Fauci says, "Do what you're told." They're
Fine.
talking about,
Please.
Biden says dark winter, and yeah. But
This
I have to
winter.
wonder. Are the leftists who are anti-fascist going to come out and protest against the government that is locking down the country, or are they going to be like, "We're going to do as we're told"?
That's a good question. Like, what would happen in that? I mean, what happens to Antifa?
Could you imagine if
Joe Biden
like
becomes president?
Antifa is finally like stopped and shut down by the power of Fauci?
I don't
It's like
think so.
Antifa's going crazy, and he goes,
of
"Do what you're told," and they're like,
Okay.
"Oh, we better go back inside, guys."
You
Oh,
wonder
man.
though, do they believe it's as infectious
Clearly
as
they
say
don't.
it is?
Clearly they don't.
'Cause, I mean, they're out,
obviously
but
don't.
they always wear masks, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
come down on you if you don't. They come down on you. You're not wearing a mask, and you're too close from me, and you're a super spreader. They do that kind of thing, but everyone does that kind of thing.
To
you
be
notice,
fair,
you see
I
it
do-
on both sides. You see it on both
I
sides.
do think that Antifa is super conditioned to follow instructions. Like, they're young kids. They're about our age, and like all they've ever done is follow instructions.
No, but they're going around fighting with cops and
Yeah,
like
so?
burning things down
Yeah,
and
they'll follow
destroying things.
instructions. Go home
They're
at 8
they're literally
p.m.
they're literally doing the opposite of that, and they're getting arrested and going out. And there's like nothing stopping them, even when they say you're going to jail for this. They let them out, and they're like, "I can do whatever I want."
With the exception, Marquise Love. I don't know if you saw this video.
Yes.
Marquise Love kicked Anna Hayner in the head after. I
Yeah.
mean, he was brutally assaulted, pulled from his truck.
you were right there.
XYZ.
Did you film that?
Yeah, he got kicked in the head. It was
I saw.
very graphic. He got less. I think he got 20 months, which is, I mean, of all the people that are being prosecuted, that's the one that is making the headlines right now.
Yeah.
So, they're not all getting away with it. The majority of it. They might as well all be getting away with it.
So if you kick somebody right in the head on camera and the entire nation sees it, then you'll get 20 months.
20 months for was it attempted murder? That was
Yeah.
a full
I know, it
force
was a full
punt. He was
kick.
going for a field goal.
Yeah.
Messed up.
Do you guys think that contact lens cameras will help journalism?
Do those exist?
Yeah,
If
They do.
Can I
Starting
have
to.
one,
They're pretty
please?
advanced.
The answer-
they're
the an-
telescopic.
But I heard about this in 2008.
The answer is no.
Then you'll just be
it's-
searching your eyes.
They're
No.
building it.
The answer is no. We tried Google Glass. Didn't work.
But that's because you could see the glasses. I'm wondering if they're hidden and they don't know that you have a camera, if you're going to be safer, or if the cops will think you're part of the problem.
We have hidden cameras now. And people use them. So use them.
I mean, we already have to hide the fact that we're press, because it's one thing if you're like Antifa sympathetic press, but people find out who we are. They follow our Twitters or whatever, and they're Antifa, and they start just sending our photos around.
Yep.
And saying these people are here. So we have to disguise ourselves as much as we possibly can, which means dressing up like Antifa, which
Or like
means
a
getting
clown.
blasted with pepper balls.
Yeah, so, you
Yep.
know.
But people always say that on Twitter and stuff, like, "Oh, well, you deserve it." And it's like, yeah, we accept the risk, but also I'd rather be at the mercy of law enforcement than at the mercy of a sucker punch that's coming out of nowhere.
Well, so
or a kick in
listen,
the head.
Antifa are bad at what they do, but will kill you.
Yep.
Right. So we've had a few instances.
Are
We
they?
had the one serious instance where Michael Reinl, he killed that Trump supporter, and that's because that's a dude who actually had a gun. Most of the time, Antifa are just like dumb young people, and they'll have a bat or something. They'll full force punt you in the head. They'll punch you. They'll beat you. They'll brutally beat you. They'll leave you with messed up teeth, like they did to Andy No. But they don't usually have the force for a full on like lethal encounter. But we are starting to see stabbings. So, we saw some stabbing happen in D.C. or whatever.
Yeah, Beverly Beatty was just stabbed. And I don't know
Yes.
that was Antifa, or I don't even know who that was.
Also Space Force
I
USA,
think,
right? What's his name?
Maybe, I didn't.
He was stabbed in Portland.
But there was a guy in Portland who got stabbed.
What was
So
something Rebel or...
But the issue is,
because I feel bad.
if I was told, I'm standing between the cops and Antifa, I'm walking towards the cops. Easy.
Sure.
The cops are constrained. Yeah, there are instances where cops, this police brutality, people get shot, people get killed, but cops are accountable And
like-
so I
Exactly,
know
exactly.
that if you walk up to the cops, the worst thing's going to
Yeah.
happen. You're going to get marks on your wrists from being cuffed. They're going to throw you in a really uncomfortable position. The worst case scenario with Antifa.
I got Billy Club pretty good in Wisconsin like a month ago, and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
knee
yeah,
is
yeah.
still a little bit messed up, but I'll still take the Billy Club over a kick to the.
Do you guys ever play D&D, Dungeons and Dragons?
No.
There's alignment scales, and you can be lawful, neutral, or chaotic. You can be good, neutral, or evil, and you can kind of mix those two up. Cops are lawful, neutral. They seem to be. Antifa's chaotic, neutral, and the chaotic
No, they're
neutral.
not.
They're chaotic. Dude.
They're not neutral.
Well, I think they are. I don't think they're evil. I mean, I don't. I don't think they're out there to hurt people. I think
You gotta- you gotta- they
That's
hand-
that's not what evil means in D&D.
What does it mean?
Well, my understanding is that it means you act in a depraved way for your own personal benefit.
Yeah, evil's pretty nasty. But even
Evil is
chaotic
like-
neutral people are
There may
very
be some that
dangerous.
are
What
like
about the guy
that,
who
but it's not
stabbed-
every.
his
It's
name
not
was
every
Andrew
single
Duncombe,
one of
by
them.
the way.
No, but as a
Andrew
group,
Duncombe?
Yeah,
they're
yeah, I
they're
agree.
He was stabbed
they're-
in Portland. Was that guy evil? The guy who stabbed him, he knew what he was going to do.
He might have
Heck
been.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was evil.
I mean,
I think not all of them are neutral, but I would say and not all cops are neutral. Some of them are good, some of them are evil. But for
As
the
a
most
whole?
part, you're looking at lawful versus chaotic, and I'd much rather side on the side of lawful than chaotic. And you pretty much always should for the betterment of your
I think
life.
it's there's gonna be bad apples everywhere. It's a matter of what are the structures by which these people are being kept in check, and what's the oversight, right? So people complain about the fact that our criminal justice system and our police don't have enough oversight, but Antifa has absolutely zero. So I think in any situation, like those bad apples are going to take as much as they're given, and so police have a lot more. There's a lot more there to keep them from acting evil.
they're accountable. And Antifa and Black Lives Matter likes to act like they're not accountable, but they are. Because there are instances where cops are not being held accountable does not mean that all cops all the time are unaccountable. Which means, for the most part, when I've been arrested before and it's a process, and then I've left the next day or in a few hours, I've also been attacked by Antifa and far leftists, and there's no it's unpredictable. They're vindictive, they're nasty, and nothing will be done about what they do to you. If they take your stuff, you can't get it back. If you get arrested, the cop takes your phone, you can be like, the cop took my phone, and then file paperwork, and then eventually you find your phone, or they give it to you when you leave. Antifa will steal from you and then run and laugh.
The cops are they have to appeal to the law, what you call accountable to the law, the U.S. law, which is pretty good law. If we were in Turkey or in China, the cops might be the bad guys.
Good luck. Good
Yeah.
luck, man.
No, I
So-
think you're right that there are obviously problems with the system, and everything can be improved.
Right.
And there are definitely issues in America with respect to law enforcement, but people are taking for granted the fact that the civil unrest that you saw elsewhere, where the police were using lethal force in Tahrir Square, I mean,
Well, I don't think the cops were doing anything in Tahrir.
yeah,
That wasn't. I wouldn't call that. That was two factions fighting each other. When the military waited until they decided which side they were on, and then it was just shut down. It was over.
Mm-hmm.
But they did go and just start mass executing a bunch of the Muslim Brotherhood people.
oh, so there's that too, yeah.
That was after the revolution. They just started going and just firing at these people, these kids, just like, brutal.
Remember the Kent State, 1970, when the National Guard killed 4 kids?
I just
That
heard
was-
about this.
That was mine. I went to Kent State, actually. It was
What
great.
year was that?
1970, May 4th.
Yeah.
And it was just the most gruesome national global news. It was a Vietnam protest.
4 people, 4 dead. Right.
That's a big deal. 4 dead
Yeah,
in
that's-
Ohio.
yeah.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young wrote a song
Yeah, yeah.
about it.
I
called
think they
Ohio.
shot him with rifles too, right?
Yeah.
I believe
National
so.
Guard. One dude got like a shot through the wrist and then like paralyzed his hand or whatever.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to us. In these other countries, they're mowing down crowds.
And we've
Yep.
made progress, obviously, because look at all the unrest we had this summer, and we didn't have police
None of the
or
Kent
National
State.
Guard actually shooting people with lethal
It's kind
armament.
of crazy. Think about the LA riots. It was a Rodney King incident.
Yeah.
They beat him, and he lived, and then the whole city went just nuts. Now we have like people dying, and sometimes like nothing happens. It's like it's kind of weird, But it shows that like things are actually getting better even with the unrest.
So
Like the unrest is bad, but
if someone died at the hands of cops, there would have been a huge unrest. But people died at the hands of protesters, and there was no unrest. This bothers me immensely because there should be the same amount of unrest, whether it's the cops or protesters. Protesters seem to get away with anything.
Or
Well,
compare Kyle Rittenhouse to the killing in Portland
Right.
of the Trump supporter. What was his
Exactly.
name again? Who killed him?
Michael Reinl.
Michael Reinl.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not justifying either one, obviously, but the press's coverage was discernibly different between the two instances.
Yep, of course.
Yeah, of course.
They're writing stuff like Kyle Rittenhouse is a mass shooter, and we should be terrified that his Trump supporters are venerating this man who's clearly killed these innocent protesters. They don't care for nuance. They don't care for understanding anything at all. It's just we win, our team. The rest of you can burn.
So to me, this is just an extrapolation of we want mindset. We want. We want the narrative to be this way. Mm-hmm. This is the way the narrative is. We want Chaz. We want this. We want this,
And in Chaz, like what you were saying, we want, and they don't produce anything. It's just take. They wanted vegan meat replacements because
I know.
that you know what I mean. They can't feed themselves, and they have to go outside. They have to cross national borders,
right?
Into
they
foreign
were requesting
territory.
foreign aid.
Yeah,
seriously,
shaking down local businesses.
They have to invade the next block.
Yeah, they do.
I think even the little taco shop there that they had a bathroom, and of course they changed the code to I think ACAB in numbers. What is that?
1312.
Yeah, yeah. Just to get on board,
So what are we going to see this weekend? What do you think? Trump supporters. I was told by the media, the right wing, got to be careful about those Trump supporters.
Yeah, man.
I was enjoying my civil unrest / riot vacation. So I'm hoping that things stay peaceful. But with that being said, there are groups, Antifa groups that we know of that are organizing, and also Proud Boys groups that are organizing. So that's never a good recipe.
Right.
And I mean, in DC, with that being said, generally speaking, the police, the park police, they are all much, much better at managing these situations than, for example, the Kenosha police, obviously. So they're always like, I mean, the irony there is like every weekend they'd shut down the Key Bridge, which is relative, a bike ride away. So I'd go down there and just watch them shut it down. And the irony there is they're chanting all cops are B words, but the cops are shutting down each side of the bridge to make sure that there's no car traffic, to make sure that they're safe. So while they're chanting that, the cops are sitting there watching, blocking traffic, and then they're done with their demonstration, and then they...
Yep. And that's why the cops... It was really funny. I remember being in Union Square in New York, and this person was screaming at a cop, whose side are you on? You're a traitor and all this stuff. And I was like, bro, that cop doesn't know anything about what you're talking about. And they don't care. They want to go home after work, lay back in their lounge chair, and put on their DVR of the game. Who won the game? They're going to watch it and tell their friends. Don't tell me what happened.
They feed their kids, too.
Right.
It's a job.
Yeah. They come home, they're stressed, they kick their boots off, they lay down, they're like... And the wife goes like, so how was work today, honey? And he's like, some person was screaming about the 1% or something. I don't even know.
Fascist and this and that.
Nonsense,
and it's like, yeah, whatever, man. If this, you wouldn't be here. You'd be a mist of some kind if this was fascism.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.